Hey there, Square Army. How's it going? For today, we're talking about more Lord of the Rings cards. This is for the new Flash harmonicon, Gandalf the White. You can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing. Alright, so Flash harmonicon, that's what I'm calling it at least anyway. It has Flash. 5 mana, 4/5. Okay, that's alright. You may cast legendary spells and artifacts as though they had flash. Okay, alright. If a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So, again, you get flash, and you get effectively a panharmonicon style of an effect. So you get flash harmonicon. So that seems pretty good. Again, they're starting to give like white this strange like ETB kind of vibe. They gave it, the Elish Norn fairly recently, and now this. So white has actually quite a few flicker effects. And obviously every color has some ETB effects. Certainly white has some pretty decent ETB effects. So those could be quite useful in a deck like this. It certainly also affects permanents that are already on the battlefield and things like that. When something says when another creature enters the battlefield or whatever else, and things like that. So again, if you have the Soul Sisters, it says when a creature ETBs, you gain a life. So you gain 2 life for each creature. And again, you can cast those things at flash speed, as long as you've got lots of legendaries or lots of artifacts. White needs some artifacts to ramp, though again, by the time you've got this guy out, I feel like you've kind of ramped as far as you can kind of go to a degree, but maybe, you could still have some stuff left in your hand. White isn't obviously very good at drawing cards, so there could be some stuff there that you could try to do with certain artifacts and things like that, or certain legendaries and things like that to gain card advantage or certain things like that. So there could be some stuff there. That or something like Mind's Eye. I've never been a huge fan of Mind's Eye because you plan it and usually you've spent all of your mana and then you can't do anything with it till you untap. So you're just kind of sad because almost inevitably by the time you do untap and can actually start, sort of taxing people in a way by drawing cards, it's way too late. You're already at turn 5. Then you're at turn 6 by the time it gets back to you, at bare minimum, most of the time, I would say. So it never seems to be worth it. And then you're paying 1 more mana for every card. And if you only have 5 mana, you're only going to draw 5 cards anyway, maybe 6 at the most, if you get really lucky. And then again, it's really got to survive. It's a big artifact. It's got to land. So it's got to survive counter magic. And then it's not got to get hit by somebody just being like, you know what? I'm going to abrade it before your turn, before you get to untap and actually draw any cards. Or whatever. So, if you have 5 mana, you can sit there through Steve's turn and Alan's turn and Jessica's turn or whatever. Once their turns are all basically done, you can say in response at your end step, I'm going to play, Mind's Eye. And then get to your turn and untap. so that then you can hopefully, avoid as much things as possible, because you wouldn't have been able to use that mana for anything really anyway, unless like you really do need to. But again, you can still play that game of going, okay, if no one does anything that I really need to worry about, all I'm going to do is drop this Mind's Eye at such and such as end step. And then I'm going to tap, and then we're going to see where we go from there, and hopefully I can actually draw a few cards or whatever. It's not exactly on plan per se with like doubling ETBs or whatever, but still, like, again, it's an idea, I guess, at least for the most part. The problem I think here with this being a legend is that Elish Norn is such a better effect. So it's hard for me to see that this will be the face of any deck. So that's kind of sad in a way. Unless somebody wants to build something about Gandalf or something, a meme deck. This is a Lord of the Rings but in white or something. Everything that was in white or whatever. You won't get a lot of stuff that'll work with it, probably, but still, you could do that if you really want to again. So, again, I feel like this card's place to shine is in the 99 of decks. It will definitely go in lots of, like, Flicker decks, ETB decks, things like that. Even if they don't have a ton of legendaries, they do have quite a few, because, again, they usually print a lot of the better cards now as legendaries, so it's just one of those things. But again, it can go into Elish Norn decks. I don't know how many Elish Norn decks that there are actually out there, because again, Elish is restricted to white, and not that it has nothing, but it doesn't have enough really good things, not like what blue-white has. So honestly, this is going to go in a lot of blue-white flicker decks that already kind of exist. But it's certainly a powerhouse card that can do some stuff. And again, it does have flash, so again, at 5 mana, you're just going to sit there and, hopefully, if nothing goes wrong, you're just like sitting there and hoping you can cast it on somebody's end step, unless somebody really attacks you with something that you can easily block with this guy. But again, that's not that bad. But again, they can obviously see it coming in a sense, because it's like, it's right there in your command zone. So again, the surprise of it being in your hand or somewhere in your deck or whatever else makes it a whole lot better. Because again, if they see it there in your command zone and they see you've got 5 mana open, they're going to be like, okay, I can see what you're doing there, bro. You're just going to cast Gandalf. Cool, that's all cool. I'm not going to bother attacking you with my 3/3 or my 4/4 or whatever. I'm only going to attack you with something that has at least, isn't at least a 5/5 or a 6/6, or a 5/6 or whatever. So that, again, you can't really take down whatever I'm taking down unless you just like lose your commander or whatever in the exchange. So at least there's that for me. So again, yeah, it's a lot better in the 99 of a lot of decks. But again, I could be wrong. Obviously, there are things that you could consider that might combo with things like this. But again, you can do the same combos with Elish. So, and again, Elish just stacks people out of the game. You would be surprised how many people run all these creatures that do things on ETB, because again, ETBs are pretty good because again, you get that immediate value. Or again, even if it's not a ETB of a creature, you have all of these things that, say when a creature ETBs, like Garrick's Uprising or whatever, things like that. So again, they are shut off because they're a trigger from something entering the battlefield. So again, it's very hard to beat through those sorts of things and beat out a commander like that. So yeah, it's really tough. And again, it's really tough to be the face of a deck because again, the surprise is gone. Once somebody sees that this is your commander, oh, guess what's happening on turn 5? You know, I'm probably going to flash in Gandalf. Who would have thought? You know, but again, like maybe there's a bunch more 0-drop artifacts that you could like squeeze into this that would make it a lot better, I think, or at least 1-drop, 0-drop ones. So yeah, there is some potential there, but again, I'm not too certain about how like good that can be because again, you would actually again have to get to 5 mana, then have all your moxes or whatever else kind of in your hand. And why would you wait to be able to cast them? So you've got to be looking at things that are like bauble and things like that or whatever that or whatnot things like that ornithopters, they don't really do that much, but they're there and they don't cost any mana, and again you can do something with them. Maybe like what's the equipment that costs 0 mana? I can't remember its name, but again, things like that. I think it's Shikai or something. But anyway, there's a lot of things that are like that you could run. But again, I wouldn't just want to drop those things out there before anyway, because they're all 0 mana. So what's like, unless you're going for a Voltron kill of some sort and you just want to have that one quick turn where you drop as many of these equipment or whatever else that you need, and then maybe some mana rocks just to help equip your dude or something. I don't know, maybe, but again, if you are dropping a lot of mana rocks, like 0-drop mana rocks or whatever at flash speed to get that quick Voltron kill on somebody, I don't know. It's tough to say that you're gonna win because, like, yes, you might take out that one person, but now the other 2 people know what you're up to, so winning from there is going to be pretty tough. Yeah, so I don't know. It's going to be a tough build for anyone who does want to build it. It'll be an interesting build, but yeah, I do think that it has its limits there. But it's certainly a really good card that can fit into a lot of other decks. So it's sort of sad that it's, being outcompeted by something else, and just like again, it's not enough colors to really have enough things for a lot of people to really build around it. There's too many blue-white decks that are already doing, flicker and flash and things like this that, this would help out with. So again, yeah, you don't really want to have to mitigate finding more like deck space for other things. You just want to keep your deck flowing, and this helps with that sort of thing. So, but anyway, guys, you guys could let me know what you guys think. Write your thoughts down there in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope you'll join me again in the next one.